mic to see.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my barbers, shout out to all my stylists. We are Beards and Baldheads. I'm your host, Fat Lace. I got the soul survivor Barry to the left of me.
Yo, what's up, my people?
I got Mr. Aggie Pride himself, Cousin D in the building.
Yo, what up? We back.
True Lies is not in the building. I apologize for that. The flyest guy I know on earth. He might be calling in. See what they do. If he's not here, trust me, he's always working on something real major. If y'all don't see True Lies here. Gentlemen, what's going on?
A lot.
A lot is going on.
Too much.
Too much is going on, some say. Yo, shout out to everybody. There was a lot of people viewing last week.
Was it?
Because they all wanted to see you. That's why they wanted to see Mr. Aggie Pride. You know, I thought it was for us. You know, shout out to Farron. Shout out to True Lies. Shout out to Mr. Ricky Shubio holding it down. Ricky Shubio held it down for you, D. Word up. Shout out to everybody on the check. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting. We appreciate you so much from the Beards and Baldheads show and from BKS1. Gentlemen, they've been protesting.
Yes.
Hey.
People.
Me.
I wasn't there.
I was.
Am I still down?
You still down?
Just making sure.
You still down?
We
was out there, though.
Don't revoke
you
my
gotta
card.
make your voices be heard.
Don't revoke my card.
If I had more time to get to more, I would go to more. But
where were you, Cousin D? Where were we at this past week in protest? I
caught mine in Piscataway, so.
Piscataway, lift that up a little bit just to make sure it catch you right there.
I was blocking my
Oh,
face.
no doubt. Yeah, they gotta see your face.
Yeah, I was in Piscataway. We was checking it, out there marching, protesting for the Black Lives Matter, just police brutality. Marched up to the police station and said what it was.
Now, Piscataway is how will we explain that city is just multiracial? It has
diverse.
Diverse. It has everything. You get a point for diverse. I like the way diverse sounds, and it exactly is diverse, from black, white, Indian, Hispanic, Asian.
They got everything.
How was it? Was everybody out?
Yeah. There was
Beautiful.
Indians, Asians,
Beautiful.
white, black, Hispanic.
Beautiful. How did it feel?
It was good. I'm glad, it was a good turnout. Probably about 300, 400 people, maybe.
Nice. Where did it start?
At the high school,
Mm-hmm.
in the parking lot. We marched up. There's a few cops there. Only cops that was down at the spot where we started at, was a few of the black cops from the town, and they was down. They was cool, showed a lot of love. Marched up. They did their speaking and talking. I'm not sure exactly who from the Piscataway Police Department stepped up and spoke on the bullhorn. But, I couldn't hear it from where I was at. I was trying to stay socially distanced, but yeah, still support.
No doubt.
I didn't hear everything he said, but, I'm sure he had a message that was for pro Black Lives Matter and,
You said that was a Piscataway police officer speaking?
he was an officer. I don't know what his rank was, so, I'm not sure. I didn't hear what his name was.
Was it a black cop?
No, he was white.
White cop?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, they're going to send them out there first. That's the only way that makes it work on the message.
I understand that.
Is if one of them is saying it. So
True indeed.
But but no, it was cool. We was out there, saw a bunch of people.
Were the kids out there?
There was kids out there.
Did you bring the kids?
No, I didn't have my kids with me.
Okay.
They was somewhere else doing something else. But no, I would have. But my kids are definitely aware of everything that's going on. I spoke to them. We've been watching stuff. I've been having that conversation with them about they 9 going on 10. So
how was that conversation?
It was awkward because I won't say awkward, but I had them watching one of the American Pain specials on ABC or whatever, and they was understanding. I made sure that they had their attention set on that, see what's going on, and they got a little emotional. But like I said, they're young, they don't understand, they don't know why people treat each other like that. So I just had to explain, like, we've been set up like this since we've been in this country, pretty much. So look how long it's been since till we got to here. Slavery ain't even been over for 200 years yet. So let alone police brutality and segregation. You know, segregation hasn't even been 100 years yet. Damn it! So
not at all.
You know what I mean? Think about the time how old we are and where the fight was for our grandparents at that time, and now, you know, our grandparents are looking at it again, probably like just shaking their head, like, see, like it ain't never
Absolutely.
been. So, I definitely enjoy being out there. Positive message. If anything else going, I would take my kids out there again. So,
No doubt.
wasn't no violent type, you know, none that violent shit ain't gonna happen out there. So.
No doubt.
But
Stores
it
are
was
too
all love.
spread out in Piscataway.
Huh?
Stores are too spread out.
Yeah,
in
no
Piscataway.
stores on Hose Lane.
You're not about to go to Rutgers
Stores
and
on
start
Hose Lane.
you know, trying to take the rack down.
Nope.
You know, it's not happening. It's not happening.
No looting out there.
Barry, thank you, cuz Barry, you have a nice range of children. What are the conversations in the household from Sade on down?
Well, you know, the oldest is definitely fully aware.
HBCU.
You know. Yep. She's fully aware. She probably in
Lincoln, LU for those who are watching.
yeah, probably more into the, you know, the
HBCU conversation.
these young kids are really, for whatever reason, I mean, people want to say, oh, because they don't know what they're doing it for. But one thing about these kids, once they start, they in it. And once they feel like there's something they need to do, so, you know, she like the rest of these young kids, they some of them are filling it out, some of them are jumping right in. And I think she's like looking like, okay, what I'm going to do? I'm going to get involved with this, or am I going to, but I think with her, she just basically trying to feel it out right now. But she don't understand what's going on. The far as her going out there and protesting, I don't know if that's
a speed right there.
I think she's more of a behind the scenes type of person.
No doubt.
She'll organize something more than just jump out there and do it.
And those people are highly needed.
Right.
They definitely are highly needed.
But
What about Ari?
Yeah, he's so nonchalant, but
How old is Ari?
9.
He's 9 years old.
He
Just like the twins. The twins
Yep.
about 9. So they're in that position at 9 years old.
Right.
And this is what's going on. They're absorbing everything.
Yeah. Right now, it's a bad look I was speaking through his eyes for 9-year-olds. Right now, the police and law enforcement don't look good. And to him right now, they're basically like the enemy. And that's how it looks. And I mean, how else could it look to a 9-year-old?
It's wild because growing up, remember when we had those conversations in school? Okay, I want you to draw what you want to be when you grow up. And you got half the class. We're 80s babies. Half the class. The cool thing to be was, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a firefighter. You had the NFL players at that, but now we're looking at police officers in a way where.
I mean, I have to. I mean, growing up in my household.
How was it, B?
I mean, we were always skeptical of the police. I mean, both my parents grew up in Jim Crow. I mean, they from South Carolina, so they grew up through Jim Crow. They grew up in the 60s in the deep South. I mean, so I've always seen my parents interact with white people. You know, my father had white friends come over to the house. My mom, you know, cool. But I've always heard them say slick stuff about white people. So back in my mind, I've always had a stigma like, okay, you know, they you could be friends with them, but
you gotta keep them
right. You gotta watch them because I heard my parents say things about them, especially the police. I've seen the cops get behind my dad, and he's like, oh, the cops. Now, and we're all scared now.
No doubt.
As kids, we don't know why. We just heard my dad say, oh Lord, the cops behind me. So, you know, you grow up thinking cops not on your side. You know what I mean? That's what I grew up like the cops are not on my side.
You know,
Cowboys and Indians, I wanted to be the Indian.
I wanted to be the Indian. I did not want to be the cowboy.
I didn't want to be the cowboy.
I liked the guns, the toy guns, but I didn't want to be.
I always felt like the Cowboys, the Indians was an unfair advantage. They needed to win. That's all my thing. I always felt like if I was an Indian,
that's
we
would
would
be. That's how you do it.
He's a Raider fan.
He's a Decepticon fan. Like,
I am. I mean, I've always.
He goes for the underdog.
I'm a Pistons fan. I'm a Raiders fan. I mean, it's just I love Darth Vader. That's just. I mean, my mom bought me Luke Skywalker. I was like, but where's Vader? Like, how you gonna have one without the other? Like, you can't have.
True.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Who is Skywalker fighting? No one.
Who is he fighting? Who is he fighting?
Megatron. Where's Megatron? You got Prime. Where's Megatron?
Yo, it's funny. I was taught probably around the same age, about 9 years old. I remember my mother telling me about the riots, and she's telling me about relationships with white people. And when we're 9 and in the 80s, I love Tony Hawk. That was one of my favorite guys and everything. I like Don Mattingly.
Pop music.
That's my pop music. Like we're not thinking as a 9-year-old of how we should view white people.
80s culture was white.
80s culture was very white.
Hip hop
started coming along.
But at that time, we were too young to pay attention.
We were too young to pay attention.
Real issues of what were going on.
But my mother definitely taught me about the riots in the 60s. And how a cross was burned in front of the house.
Wow.
And how my uncles had to help get us in East Orange, get my family in East Orange, get them safe.
Wow.
Out there. So I was taught this as a young child. That's why I always wonder, like, my son is only 8 months today. So I wonder, how are we teaching our children about this right now? They already are home because of COVID. So that's different in school. I don't think they're ever going to forget this time in life.
I think now as parents, if your kids aren't aware now of like certain things in history, I think back in the day, for some reason, our parents I have to say, they just let things be. Like, I heard my mom and them, they told us the more than normal, because a lot of people thought that we just invented peanut butter or something. But, I understood the
nonviolence.
Yeah, nonviolence. We was never told that Malcolm X was bad in my house.
No doubt.
Like, Malcolm X wasn't an enemy in my house. Even though my parents were Christians, they never said Malcolm X was a bad guy. And I know, but in school, that's how they painted him. Like he was the anti Martin Luther King. But that's not how my parents taught me. So I'm in class just listening, not really believing anything the teachers tell me, because my parents believed in what Malcolm X was saying also. So I had militant parents. At the same time, they were Christians. So they were like, be nice, but understand. Love everybody, but understand. That was kind of crazy.
Coming from Malcolm X, at the time when we had civil rights and we had other movements, we had the Malcolms, we had the Martins in our lives, and we had someone that the media showed that we want to inspire to be, or the voice of us. How do we feel right now that who is our voice? Who do we want to be? I don't see it as much as just as a one person out there. And I was looking at somebody who in the 80s, and I'm gonna bring it together. I know it might sound off in the beginning. They had a 30 for 30 for Bruce Lee.
I thought she was gonna say Mr. T. Go ahead.
It was another one that we wanted to be. It was another person we wanted to be. I was watching it. Did you see a 30-30 for Bruce Lee?
No, I'm gonna watch it.
My fault for not telling you guys to watch it.
No, it was B Water, but I didn't.
Yeah, B Water.
I was
B Water
doing something else.
And one thing they were talking about with Bruce Lee and with the Chinese people, they had their own protesting going on against the British rule. So they were showing that with Bruce Lee, and they were showing the Chinese going against the British rule in Hong Kong. So they shared the same, I guess, oppression in their country. And
their country,
not America.
Their country.
Yeah, their country, not America.
I know what D said.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
their country.
We inspired to be Chinese when I'm talking about the 80s young boys.
Culture.
What we thought was powerful, the culture we wanted to be was not of a black culture. As young kids, I'm going to say probably from, Barry, you probably can help me out better. I remember, say, 87 to 88. No, ending. Before LL Cool J came out. So I'm saying for about to 87, we loved and embraced and inspired to be in the Chinese culture. We loved their movies. We wanted to be, they were the toughest guys on earth, and we wanted the weapons, but we did not want to be somebody black. We did not.
Well, we didn't. Well,
cause just think about when the times when we were going to the watch on flea markets.
Well, what I was saying,
why did we embrace that culture so much?
Because that at the time the 80s was a diverse culture for real.
Okay.
I mean, we listened to everything. We listened to Hall & Oates, Cyndi Lauper.
Mm-hmm.
We listened to Arithmetic. I mean, what's it called? I forgot the group. I mean, we listened to white music. I mean, David Bowie, everybody. We listened to Mick Jagger. We listened to everything, rock and roll. That was just an era where, you know, MTV was starting up.
Mm-hmm.
Music video. Michael Jackson was the man. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, we would just, whatever was popular, that's what we jumped on. And when Bruce Lee came out, that was something new. And crazy, the white people didn't embrace it as quick as we did, as the black culture. The black culture loved.
The black culture
We
loved
took it. We loved it.
Uncle Craig, I'm going to get to you. Shout out to Uncle Craig.
And we did have one black guy was Jim Kelly. And that's
Jim
all
Kelly.
I needed. That's all I really needed was to see Jim Kelly doing it. And I said, okay, if Jim Kelly can fight with Bruce Lee, then we all can do it.
Then we all could
So
do it.
yeah,
Then Kareem.
right?
Then
Then
Kareem.
Kareem. So they understood that, but then and at the same time, you know, like I said, Kung Fu was like, man, you couldn't. It was like being a superhero.
That was like being a superhero
Yeah.
every day.
A ninja. Yeah.
After the Fox 5.
You know why? Because
Right.
I think the Kung Fu movies, to me,
It was crazy. The cinema
regardless
was crazy.
if you could understand it, anything, you knew the plot of
Right.
the Chinese movie. There were some bad dudes
Right.
or a bad clan
Mhm.
come into a town, and some Chinese master would come into the town and save the people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So us as black people wanted to be able to protect our people in the projects and the
Right.
streets and stuff like that. So what's that way that we found out how to fight and do whatever? Was the Kung Fu, the karate
Right.
with Bruce Lee. It wasn't from Hulk Hogan.
but you
and-
said something big about the fighting because that's what people did then. They fought.
they fought.
So they figured martial arts gave you more an advantage than just using your fists. So as a person who knew martial arts back then, you was considered a scary guy.
You might get the shit kicked out of you.
Right, so they were like, wait a minute. I mean, you could fight in the streets, but man, this guy knows karate or kung fu.
Yeah, you ain't want to mess with the
It's a
dudes.
different
You ain't
dude.
want to mess with
Right.
the dudes who knew karate.
Right,
back
so
in the day.
You didn't.
So knowing martial arts back then gave you status in the streets. Like, yo, this dude kick you.
Yeah,
He
right.
can't just punch you. He could kick you.
Roundhouse kick.
Right.
Like that.
So that was a big deal.
Shout out to my main man Shaheed Muhammad who has swift kicks.
Yes.
And I forgot to tag you, Shaheed. I hope you call in like you usually do or check in. And he says we stand and fight against injustice. He came from our era, the same age.
Yes.
We went to school together, and he
Yep.
still practices that discipline. A black man,
Yep.
proud black man, strong black man. He's teaching our kids the martial arts. And I highly respect him. Has his own black business. I want to jump
We're out
back.
of-
We're in Plainfield, New Jersey.
I was just signed the boys up, my sons up for martial arts
Yeah.
before the COVID hit, and they canceled everything. So
So
I might have to talk
Shaheed,
to
gotta
Shaheed.
holler at Shaheed Muhammad. And put him down with swift kicks. Definitely look him up. I want to shout out to Uncle Craig, and he definitely verified. He said we had to go to East Orange for a few days during the riots. He said, you know, they had bomb threats on Hillcrest Ave,
Wow.
threatening my grandfather, late Everett C. Lattimore, and you know, educated man. They definitely didn't want him to be in charge or have
Right.
that type of influence, or anybody who had influence at that time. Uncle Craig, if you want to call in, definitely call in. If you could explain a little bit more about it. You know, we need to know our history out here, and sometimes our kids don't know.
they
Right.
don't.
And I will never forget that conversation that my mother told me at that time, because I'm like, a
Yeah.
cross burning, bomb threats to the house. Like we didn't grow up like that.
But yeah, true. But real quick, back to like you said before,
Let's get back to China.
where or who of our leaders are the leaders?
Who are
that
our
stepping
leaders?
up?
I don't think-
Non-athletes or entertainers. Where's
This is
I
the
was
thing.
about to say
I'm
something.
gonna take
Where's
something
Oprah?
from Nas. I've heard.
does
I-
Oprah count?
Nas said something.
She don't.
He said we don't. He said something about somebody asked a question about where's our black leaders. I can't get the quote exactly. He was like, "We don't need a black leader. Whites don't have nobody leading them." Basically, what he said was that we all have to lead. We all got to do it. We can't sit back and wait for a Reverend Sharpton or a Jesse Jackson or Martin Luther King anymore. You got to be the leader now. Everybody got to step up and do their part, because one person, we're not going to listen to one person anymore. And then if one person gets sniped out, that's it.
Is that it?
The movement's done. So no, we need. There's going to be a lot of leaders, a lot.
Well, I see where they're coming from. They're looking
Merv,
for
I'ma
that.
get to you.
They're looking for that MLK or
And we don't-
you know
I get
somebody
it,
like that.
but I
to
think it's
step
gonna
up
be more
and
than
be
one
that,
this
that
time.
face for anything.
We got my man Merv, my man Total Package, DJ Total Package, and he says, we don't have one defined leader for our community. I guess the biggest leader is our sports stars and musician, so LeBron James and Sean Carter. I saw somebody put up a post last week or a week or two ago, and they said, this what he said. Say Jay-Z's been real quiet. And other people started chiming in saying, yeah, man, I thought the same thing. You know, he's been real quiet. Why is he why so? And I'm like, give the man some time. Like, they were trying to kind of go in on him. I'm like, that's not fair. Like, it's not fair to go in on somebody who empowers our people. Jay-Z gave so many people jobs, made so many people millionaires, but this one little time where he doesn't just jump and react off of anger.
But that's my point.
We want to just bash him.
Why are we looking for even celebrities? I understand they have the platforms. Yes, we need them to use their platforms. That don't make them leaders because they have platforms.
True.
Just because you have a platform don't mean you set the lead. It don't mean everybody's willing to follow you, because everybody may not like Sean Carter enough to consider him a leader, or LeBron James for that matter.
Shout out to my man Sype on the check.
Is there anybody that you could think of that we've said, hey, this is the guy?
Where's Cap?
Like,
where is Cap?
If anybody, there you go. He quote unquote sparked this thing.
Shout out to CJ on the check-in. They said Tyson, my man TP said Tyson was the baddest man on the planet, so people wanted to be Tyson in the late 80s. I don't know if I wanted to be Tyson. I don't think I wanted to be Tyson because I couldn't beat him in a Mike Tyson punch out. But I feel you. But besides the fighting, I loved his lifestyle. I love watching him.
I think everybody
he got me excited.
I think everybody admired Tyson.
I think so. Good point, TP.
Yeah, everybody admired him, definitely.
We definitely.
He was ours. He was ours. He was considered our champ. He was the real people's champ.
I think that was the transition. It might have been when Mike Tyson changed the power.
He was the real people's champ for us, but he wasn't a guy that could represent us as a people.
Yes. He wasn't the guy. No. You know, a lot of people. I got CJ. I got Uncle Craig. I got my man Syfe. Shout out to Syfe on a check-in. One of the illest artists out there, straight out of Brooklyn. He was the gap or the transition when we want to be somebody else. It's funny. Well, I'm watching this Bruce Lee, and they're talking about the Chinese people, and they said something about the Chinese. The difference between the blacks is they kind of didn't complain like us, even though they were in America. They were kind of slaves at the same time, working for cheap labor, building the railroads. Right. But they didn't complain, and they stuck to their own. And a transition to I see a group that never really broke up. They took in the Chinese culture, and I know TP said something about the Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang took in that Chinese culture, and what they did, they followed one person. They had a leader, they had a RZA. We found out years later they did have riffs, but they stuck to a certain code where they did not allow themselves in the public to disgrace themselves and show all their anger and beef towards each other for a common cause, which is rare. It's extremely rare.
I think
in the music industry or anything with entertainment.
I think for Chinese people, at the end of the day, Dee said something earlier, their country. No matter what, they took all the Chinese people out of China, which is China pretty much is China. Now, Africa, we understand, it's a continent made up of many countries. People say, "Oh, no, no, Africa is a continent made up of many countries."
Yes.
So to take me from Africa, I have no clue of where I came from. So it's hard to be unified with people that look like me, not knowing if we came from the same spot.
TJ says that all the time.
So Chinese people, no matter what, we know we all Chinese. We came from China.
Yeah.
True.
So
maybe from different provinces or different regions, but that's still irrelevant. From China.
Exactly. We all Chinese. You take me from Africa, I don't know if I'm Sudanese. I don't know if I'm Nigerian. I don't know what I am.
You get a point for Sudanese, B.
Oh,
I don't even know what that's Sudan.
Yeah.
I know that from White Man Can't Jump. He was like, nah, my brother, you shooting at Sudan right there. That's what I know.
So I think the fact that we can't all pinpoint a specific, location, that hurts your unity, man. It does. People Puerto Ricans are proud of being from Puerto Rico.
They are proud. I was just watching a Big Pun old video.
They're proud
I
of
used to
that
go to the Puerto
island.
Rican Day Parade,
And Puerto
loving
Ricans
it.
ain't nothing but
Right, but they can say, "Hey, I'm from
just
there."
An island stop from South Carolina or wherever.
But you see how much pride black people have in their own block? Can you imagine if they knew a country they all shared?
Oh shit, yeah, that'd be different.
Yeah, it would be way different.
Exactly. So that's why these other foreign countries, these Jamaicans and these other people, they so proud because they can pinpoint their heritage. They can pinpoint.
They absolutely
it makes a
can.
difference.
They're from Africa too.
I can say I'm African American, but where?
You don't think the Jamaicans are from Africa too?
We got a caller calling in.
Everybody in this country, everybody in this continent, in this planet is from Africa.
Hey, Beards and Baldheads. Let me hold. Give me 1 second, caller. 1 second, caller, please.
Just pause it.
Caller calling in. Beards and Baldheads. Who we have on the line?
What up? It's Seth. What's good?
Seth the God.
Yeah.
Seth the God. I'm happy that you called. I got a question, Seth. And Seth, me and Seth had a. Are we good? So, which one? 15. Seth the God. Check 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
Okay, here we there. You know, boys ready. You know, he signed the Griselda on the low. Y'all ain't know that. Seth, we had an interesting conversation the other day. I asked you. I said, brother Seth. First, let me introduce Seth the proper way. After I introduce the conversation, I said, Seth, did you go to the protest the other day in Plainfield? The peaceful protest, and shout out to everybody who did go, because we need people that are there. And shout out to my brother True Lies. Some of these pictures are from him that I'll be posting right here from the protest. And Seth, what was your response? Can you explain why you did not go?
My response is this: I don't knock anybody who went. I think that the public protest is good for the momentum of the movement, but what we need is, while we have this momentum, we need some type of political action to ride on the momentum.
Okay.
Just marching and protesting is a reactive response, but we need a proactive response.
Okay.
You know, we need to act before the bodies are on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we can't be, you know, for the past 50 years we've been very reactive. We need to be more proactive. We need to start forming political action to enact policies that will affect these officers who are rogue and who are racist and who go against the law. We need to punish them severely so that will prevent other officers from committing these acts. That's where we're at right now. Like it's good. Like it's wavy right now for the protests and the marches right now. That's wavy, but we need to be more proactive than reactive.
Brother Seth, and that was one of the topics for tonight. Are we following a trend? Is this a wave when it comes to the protesting right now? I had a friend of ours. He to me kind of challenged me. I felt maybe he wasn't trying to do that, and he was like, you didn't express yourself thoroughly. He kind of felt like I was shucking and jiving last week when I wasn't angry on the show. And I had to tell him, I'm saying, because we talking about being proactive. Now, brother Seth is part of the Crew Love movement, and when we've been doing the Stop the Violence Father's Day cookout, that would be this weekend, doing it for 10 years strong. And Seth's been an integral part of that, organizing, sacrificing his sweat and time to that. I had to tell the brother, I'm like, yo, I've been doing this kind of stuff for years. Seth is also part of the GM what? I'm sorry, I want to mess nothing up.
The GMC gentlemen making changes, and also the Swag Academy.
You've been doing this
mentorship for young men.
Seth has been doing this, sacrificing his time and energy and love to young black men, to his community for years before this. So when the person kind of challenged me, I said, brother, I've been doing this stuff for years one conversation, one show does not make it. I feel like how you're saying some people are being real wavy with the memes.
Right.
And they feel like they have an angry, cute post. They're like they're doing something for us. And I'm like, that's cool. That's cute. But what are you really doing?
They clout chasing.
Right.
Clout chasing.
Which is nothing.
Which is nothing.
You know, yeah, which is nothing. You know, it's good to get the conversation going, but now you got to put in the sweat. You got to put in the intellectual stamina to bring forth change.
I think
you know, we
that's true.
Yeah, we can't be steadily responding to the deaths. We have to prevent the deaths. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I think that we have not been doing enough to prevent the deaths of these nonviolent, innocent persons who happen to be black. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be more proactive. You got to. You know, it's not enough to vote for the president. You have to be involved in your city council, your board of education. You know, the elections of your mayors. We have to get more active in these areas because these areas affect policies which undergird.
You get a point for that word right there, undergird. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds fly right there, undergird. Go ahead.
Right. Undergird, which means like support and sustain the acts of these rogue cops. You know what I'm saying? These cops do what they want. They do what they do because they know that there are policies that will protect them. Now, if you have disciplinary policies that will punish these cops for doing these types of acts, it will prevent them from doing them. Let's take away Let's take away.
Real quick though, Seth. Real quick though, you know what stops that though is the police unions.
No, brother. The union don't stop that. The union only helps. The unions only help to make sure that the cops they have good wages, good benefits, and all that type of things. But when you have policies that come from the municipalities that structure the police department, the unions can't fight too much against that. You know what I mean? Because if you have an officer who blatantly goes against the law, there's little to protect that unless you have policies to bumper him. You know what I'm saying?
So, what would you suggest, or what would you advise our people to do? One thing moving forward, because right now.
Because they know the law, but yet they are going against the law and breaking the law.
I like the fact about changing the policy and the laws, but to me, I don't have a lot of faith and confidence in the changing of the policy and the laws if you don't change the people that are in charge of enforcing these policies and laws. And that's where I'm saying where we have to vote for the judges. We have to say, look, we're gonna watch you, judge. Hey, look, we're gonna watch you, DA. And if we don't like what you're doing, we're getting y'all out of there. And
but not
to
just
me,
us though, Barry.
I'm just talking about people. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about we have to attack them.
All the people that's out here supporting this show gotta be on the same path.
I addressed that earlier when I said we have to get involved in local politics.
Yeah,
the local politics will ensure that we get people in our people in those positions who will uphold the right laws and who uphold and represent that which we want represented. You know what I'm saying? The problem is we have representatives who don't represent us. They represent the other side. So what we have to do is.
Right, no, I'm saying I don't disagree with you. I'm saying I agree with you. I'm just saying that I think there are enough. There's been enough policies to do what we needed to do, and I think that the cops could have been held accountable for a lot of things that they've done. And we just let them off because of the people that were in charge of prosecuting them or whatever. Let them off, and I think, like you said, it's twofold. We have to vote locally, and we have to hold everybody accountable. And including the people, the citizens, we have to hold each other accountable.
Because a lot of people aren't aware of the passes that the cops get for the ones that do get caught up in stuff. How many passes have they gotten, or how many rugs have their situations got swept under that we don't even know about or hear about?
Absolutely. I got a question for everybody right here. Do we feel the riots were needed and these protests were needed to really wake up America? Because obviously, when it came to kneeling on the knee with Kaepernick, everyone they didn't care. Were these? And I want to hear from everybody. Were the riots needed?
I would say yes to a degree, right? But what we failed to do in the past is we rioted, but we didn't act politically to back up the rioting. Like, the rioting brings attention to the issue. Now that you have the attention to the issue, you must act proactively to change the policies which have undergirded the issues. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, we got this momentum now going with all the protests, here and abroad. Now we got to act politically to say, look, all right, we want these things to change. This blue code of silence must be broken down. This type of police training must be revamped.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
We have to act like this right now, because if we don't, again, we're going to be marching again in 6 months for another dead brother or sister who has been slain by a rogue, racist, or just overzealous cop.
Anybody else want to chime in? Or
no, I agree.
Like,
I agree.
No, you actually said my sentiments.
I mean, as far as
thank you, sir.
The riots, I mean, I think that it's just inevitable when it comes to people angry. I think it's very hard to have peaceful protests. Even back when Martin Luther King, they said everybody wasn't nonviolent.
Everybody wasn't.
No, I mean, yeah, they showed a lot of marches and stuff, but I'm sure many marches there was a lot of people out there fighting. Yeah, but the situation was a lot different. I think it's a harder way to hit them, but we had to be willing to sacrifice to do it. And as a people, and I mean as a people, not just black people, yeah, it needs to start with us as black, brown people my thing is boycotting. And I think by not spending our money with these people in these places, it will hurt them a lot more than us running up in their stores, taking a few of their petty items that they're going to replace.
I just wish the rioters rioted the right stores and didn't hit like a
I'm
lot
just saying
of the
that
local
rioting
businesses.
not hurting them enough. Rioting is not hurting them enough.
Well, that's the thing.
Not spending our money is going to hurt
some of the wrong people.
How about the NFL players don't play? How about they say we're not playing this year?
Now,
how about certain companies
that when Kaepernick was kneeling, but like, okay, cool, you riot, but you need to riot in their communities. You need to make those cops who have gone against the law, you need to make them feel uncomfortable, and you need to make them understand that if they violate the law, their neighbors will be uncomfortable. So you don't riot in our communities. You go to where they live at, and we riot, we protest, we march. That's where you do that at.
That's why downtown, I think Philly hurt them. Because
downtown is still
Times Square, stuff like that. That hurt them.
In Atlanta, Jock was saying last week, he said, no, they are not in the hood for the most part.
Not downtown.
They're downtown and getting those corporate people. And I'm like, if all these corporations start losing their money, they're going to wake up. People are going to wake up. I'm not saying I'm saying it's needed. I feel it is, and because if they didn't do it, if it was just we shall overcome, or I'm black and I'm proud, if they were, it's all about financial. But before you go, Seth, we talking about finances. The Montgomery bus boycott lasted 382 days. This was not over a year.
See what I
this
mean?
was not.
See what I mean?
a fad.
We ain't built for that no more.
And that's what I want to know. Are we built for it? And if we're not, I want to put this conversation out there so we will be. Let's remember, I don't want us to just be angry for just 2 days. I don't want us to just keep going off emotion. And Seth, you made a great point. All you guys did when you talk about it's all about the long haul, and sometimes it's about affecting the pockets of those who are in charge. So we have to affect the pockets of the police or whoever it takes for us to get the justice for change. We're gonna have to do, but it all happens when you affect the pockets, when you affect that money right there. And let's not be forgetful. It was this comedian I was watching. He said, they always want black people to forget. It was like, okay, you have they say, okay, slavery. That was 200 years ago. Oh man, that's so long ago. You had civil rights movement. That was in the 60s. Why are you still talking about that? Like, we changed. They always talk about that. Like, no, the same stuff is still going on. The same stuff is still going on. One last thing before, because Brother Seth, I know you might be real busy, doing what you do. But I want to know how y'all feel. I hear this thing with the black all lives matter. I swear that gets under my skin the most. This all lives matter. Right. Nah, we talking about the black lives. You got the brother, and a lot of people been apologizing. How do y'all feel when people say the all lives matter? Any one of y'all that want to take the floor with that?
I mean, I'm ready to go. I don't want to bully the time, but whoever want to go, I'm ready to go.
Well, go, Seth, you here, man? Come on, you're a special guest tonight, and Dion gonna follow right behind you.
All right. Well, look, all lives matter. Look, the atrocities that have been committed against people.
Oh man, he get another point for atrocities. There you go.
The atrocities that have been committed against not all lives, black lives, right? Mm-hmm. So when we speak about this, we must speak specifically and strategically about whom is being affected, which is the black lives. Again, the same thing, the same argument to me, in my opinion, when people say people of color are being affected. No, people of color are not being affected. Black people are being affected.
No doubt.
Because the East Indians, the Chinese, those are people of color, but they are not being affected by this, as are African Americans and blacks are being affected by this. So when we speak about this, this must be spoken specifically and strategically about black people and not all lives matter. Black lives matter and black people, period. That's my opinion.
I think you said it. Said it.
When somebody says all lives matter, that's just being dismissive. Basically,
it is.
I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, you're basically saying, yeah, and so what? What are you saying?
Yeah, that's not showing enough.
That's basically what you're basically saying.
Hey yo, I saw a meme that said when you say all lives matter, that's like saying, hey, look, my house is on fire. Yeah. But the fact that all lives matter is like saying, look, my house is on fire, and look, you need to spray down all the houses on the block. You know what I'm saying? When only my house is on fire.
I saw another one that had me crack. 1 second, B. This comedian was talking. Say comedian. He was like, yo, when you say all lives matter, it's like if your girl asks you, do you love me? And you tell her,
oh yeah, I love everybody.
I love everybody. I love life. Everybody is saved. I'm like, come on, man.
That's basically it.
What?
Being dismissive. You're not recognizing the situation there. But yeah, that's what it is.
Yo, Brother Seth, thank you for the call. When we open back up, can you come through one time?
No time. Anytime.
Can we shout out all the movements that you are with, all the corporations, all the groups? You got some good people behind you that you're right next to, for real.
Let's shout out Swag Academy, Gentlemen Making Changes, Crew Love Entertainment, all the Greek letter fraternities that's out there that's doing the real work.
Shout out to Brother Riddy. I saw him out there. Shout out to Reverend DJ. Shout out to my boy out there.
Right.
Seth, we can get you on the
Speaking of which,
what up?
Hold on. Speaking of which, we need to get really politically active by registering and informing our populace about those who are involved in the community, who are about real change of community. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, all those who are under my voice, you know somebody who is not registered to vote, get them registered, and bring them into the fold where we can inform them that we can get them involved so that they can push for change.
Absolutely.
Your vote does matter all the time, and especially on the local and municipality levels.
Absolutely.
Your vote matters greatly.
Thank you, Seth, man. Look, I hope you're watching. I tagged you. If not, watch it later. Make sure you share this right here, man.
Definitely, I got you. I ain't watching, but I'm on the line.
Definitely, man. I'm gonna send you to your message later on. Appreciate you.
All right, peace to the brothers on the panel, man. Y'all keep up the good work.
Peace, Seth.
Thank
Seth,
you, man,
appreciate
brother
it.
Seth. Thank you.
All right, peace.
Now I had a good conversation with brother Seth the other day. I was like, man, got to make sure he gets that out there. We had that. Did y'all pay attention to the Blackout Tuesday?
Yeah.
Paid attention to it.
So we had the Blackout Tuesday the other day.
Wasn't enough.
Some people say it's not enough.
It was a half blackout.
Half blackout.
It
And
was blacked out. I feel like it was just black squares, and I'm guilty of it too.
I just think
posting
I don't
day,
think
you
I
know?
let because you see a lot of posts and everything
Was
was
it a
black,
posting day?
but I
That's
think
all
you
I really
weren't. I think you were
understood.
just supposed to buy black.
No,
And
but what I saw was
That's
was-
supposed to be.
he wasn't supposed to post anything except for that square. Nothing else.
That's it.
The whole day.
I didn't know that. I think I
Just
put
the
a throwback.
square and nothing else. You're not supposed to post nothing else on your page the whole entire day.
Mm.
And I seen people post the square, and then hours
2
later,
hours later,
they
showing you
posting
they
other
launched,
stuff.
they
And I'm
showing
like,
you they
well, wait a
launched.
minute. You didn't black out because blackout would mean you're supposed to post that square and leave your phone alone today.
Leave it alone.
But you couldn't do that for a day.
I thought you weren't supposed to.
That's later on. That's next. That's coming.
That's another one. So remember we had and I want to shout out to my good sisters. We had D, Snicky, all of them. They were selling like the NutriBurst and the TLC product. Shout out to all my girls out there hustling on their grind, selling great products. On that Blackout Tuesday, on that time, you had the founder and CEO, Jack Fallon, creator of TLC and NutriBurst, issues an apology for saying all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter. When he said this, he turned some heads wrong when he has a lot of black women behind him that is moving his product out there. But what made it worse, it's this young lady, her name is Stormy. Storm, I'm not even gonna play the video. She is complaining, said y'all are fooled. Y'all should not be worrying about what everyone's saying with the Blackout Tuesday. Y'all cost $100,000 that I should have had made. I'm looking at her like, I don't even want to play her video. I know people who stopped selling the product because of their statements. Now, mind you, I know some great black women who are making good money off this product, and I respect it because they're selling health products.
Right.
So I highly respect it. Do you feel that people should not be a part of a movement because of what an owner says, so an ignorant statement? Some people just quit. Like, how do y'all feel about that?
You know what? I got
if you have easy enough access to for all rights, like you should.
You feel they should?
You should.
You know what? I thought about that in terms of franchising, right? So I seen some people saying I'm not going to Wendy's no more because Wendy's the CEO of Wendy's. But don't you know it's franchised?
But then they said that was just a group of owners that have a group of people that have a bunch of Wendy's that said that. It wasn't actually Wendy's.
Right. So basically what I'm saying is that you make my point for me. So for you to say I'm not going to support this product anymore, I might own Wendy's. I own Wendy's. Y'all not coming to me now?
A brother.
Because of what the CEO did?
No doubt.
See, that's the thing.
No
People
doubt.
need to look into.
That's why we got to understand.
what they're hearing.
Right.
Because somebody sees something on
the
Instagram.
girl had a point.
Oh, nope, F Wendy's.
The girl had a point. She's making money.
She's making money
through the company, which she could be using that money to support the community.
She very well could be. She very well
because
could be.
Y'all not cutting off the CEO's money. Y'all cut her money off because y'all not understanding that a franchise is not an organization. It's different. A franchise at all, like McDonald's, is not owned by one guy.
Mod, I'm gonna get to you.
It's not. I understand what y'all saying, but
absolutely.
At the same time, if I own a Wendy's, I might own 2 or 3 Wendy's. So now my Wendy's is gonna go out of business because of the CEO who don't even know me did something stupid. Y'all we gotta be careful too now. We don't want to cut off our nose, spite our face.
We absolutely don't want to give to a few comments that were made earlier that I didn't get to. You had Samad saying Hove donated masks to the prisons out there. Last month in the news, he donated masks to the prisons with Meek for saying he has been quiet a lot. See, if it's not in a cute post, some people don't see it. They're not gonna read it. They're not gonna take the time to investigate. So that's why I'm like, yo, why are we trying to hop on our people who are our financial leaders out there that we can relate to? CJ made a great point. He said, look, we need to, he made a lot of great points I'm going to get to. He said, we need to buy black and support our black people. Recycle. Latanya, man, y'all better get them T-Berry sangrias. I need some of that probably right after I leave here.
I'm trying to look into that black bank.
Got to get into the black bank. Said Timberline, yo, it's fun. Timberline said craziness, and the black folks still wearing Timberland. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, we still was wearing Timbs until Drake tried to diss Gucci, all of them, and we still mad for a second. But we still are gonna get to it.
Fly.
We gotta be fresh. We gotta be fly. If you want to be fly, you need to holler at people like my brother Mal at shirts and stuff.
There you go.
I need to answer messages.
This is where y'all need to go. Yo, Matt, we're gonna holler at Mal later on. If you want a good shirt, you want to get yourself done, man, holla at Mal. He got the Black Lives Matter shirts and everything. He got anything you need customized. You got your own business. Holla at my brother Mal at shirts and stuff. We want to support our black people. If you want to support us, yo, do it.
You got a nice shirt on.
I got it for my peoples, Shout out to my boy who dropped this off to me, man. My boy James makes some shirts. My barber, man. Shout out to his son Justin, who just graduated. You know what? The youth right there going off to college, man. It's I try to, this episode we got a little. We had to get in a little bit in our bag and let it out because it's a lot that we have going on.
The crazy part, but one thing I want to say is that we seem like we got real distracted from this COVID.
We absolutely got distracted.
I like the meme that said COVID was like OKC. They lost the 3-1 lead to racism.
It's crazy because we gonna get hit in the face with that again because we slipping.
Ike, what's good, baby?
People starting to slip on that.
Some people are.
Not me.
I'm just saying, in general, I'm seeing it. People just thinking it's over. Nah, it's not.
We got people on the check-in and we're saying, look, we need to build our Black Wall Street. We need to come together as a community and together. It is hard to believe certain people.
It burned down
and that like I said when I brought it back early when I was bringing up like the Wu-Tang, he had 9 people under him as entertainers. Some people might say I might be getting off track, but I'm like, it was hard. It's hard to have 6 people believe in Beards and Baldheads.
What you saying was it'll never happen again.
With the Wu-Tang.
Never.
It will never happen again. To actually humble yourself and say, I'm going to believe in this person right here to change my circumstances and change my life, which he did. And he's not the last genius who was a black man in entertainment, but they believed in him.
When we spoke about how there's no more groups.
Yes.
Because you can't.
Why so?
The dynamic of social media and everybody wanting to be their own star.
Everybody wants to be.
Everybody want to be their own star. So almost every group we know broke up for the same exact reason. Somebody wanted to be the star.
I ain't got no time for another show.
Every single
this
one.
The only group I'm part of, bro.
Think about it. Think about every group we could think of broke up. Why? Because maybe two guys in the group, somebody wanted to go solo.
Yeah, we're better than them.
Somebody got to go. I can do it on my own.
And even his agenda, which I liked about him, he said, look, if you trust in this movement, everybody will profit off later.
Yep.
Just trust in me. I want all my brothers. Trust in me, what I'm doing, What I'm telling you, I'm gonna guide you in the right direction. Trust the process. It might have took a few years, but he trusted the process.
It was kind of a sad story.
Trust
though,
the process. We do not like trusting process.
No.
We want instant gratification. We're going back to the Montgomery bus boycott. 382 days for a change. Right now, people just want instant likes.
And that's why I said we got to be sacrificial. And that's why I said no real change is going to come until we really willing to boycott for real. And until we willing to boycott for real on all levels, it ain't going to happen. It got to start from the highest level, entertainment first.
It has to.
That's where the most money coming from, black dollars. Entertainment, sports, music. Until they say, look, we're not gonna go to these white studios. We're gonna go all going to the black studios. We're only gonna do business with black people or brown people, for whatever you want to say. We're not spending no money with y'all. Basketball, we know what, we starting our own league. We're not part of the NBA anymore.
And even with that, you know, a lot of people, even in NBA,
we're gonna have our own owners. We're gonna leave the NBA organization. We don't need y'all. We're the players. We don't need. What we need y'all for? What we need them for?
That would be dope.
The NBA. That's why I love baseball so much, because we rooted for each other. We knew in order to win, we needed everyone to play great. We didn't want anyone to have an error at all. We didn't want anyone to lose. We want everyone to hit a home run. NBA, so me. I want to be the star. When it comes to a lot of these sports, in high school basketball, you have to be. I want to be the star. They say it's no. Who was Merv? It's microwave dinner's not cooking anymore. It's not. It's not, man. I hope everyone checks these comments on the check-in. Y'all are. I love y'all for dropping this. We got CJ talking about financial literacy and credit is the black man's downfall. If you can help me fix my credit, CJ, I need to hit your DM, man. I ain't got the. Don't tell nobody. But anyway,
we get better credit if we got black-owned banks.
We will.
Shout out a lot of broke white boys getting credit.
Shout out. Absolutely. It said plug into black-owned New Jersey on Facebook. I guess that's a thank you, Tanya, on that one. Make sure y'all plug into that.
I'm on it.
You on it?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Definitely. Thank you for that plug right there. Everyone wants to be a chief and not an Indian.
Barry want to be an Indian.
Who?
Barry said, I didn't want to be the cowboy. I wanted to be the Indian. One thing
I should have been saying Native American, but hey, this is what it is. It is what it is.
Absolutely. You know, like I say this about you guys all the time. You know, I don't think it's any egos right here, and even with True Lies included, and even when G Money was here, it's no egos, and if you want to lead. Everyone has to let their ego down.
Right. Like I said, we have them.
We have them.
Right.
And that's what we love about each other. Because we respect.
But I can respect somebody else's.
We respect the power that we have. And like I always say, I respect the power in everybody here. But sometimes you have to let the ego go as far as I just have to be number one.
No, it's called respect.
It's called respect. And respect is not.
That's all I ask.
Respect.
I demand, actually. But,
it should be given.
You know it.
It should be given.
It just don't happen that way. Unfortunately.
Oh man, you know, I want to shout out to my barbers before we close out. How you looking up under the?
Horrible.
They about to open up, right?
They about to open up in about 2 weeks.
The 22nd can't come.
The 22nd is coming. You know, this show is still about the barbers and the hairstylists. You know, let's shout out some hairstyles. We talk about the wool.
Is it 22nd with appointments or is 22nd open?
Open. Most spots you might need it. Shout out to some hairstyles out there. They didn't care about it back in them days. You know, listen. I hope you barbers out there are on your ding. I hope you are. I don't want y'all looking like this right here. Some of y'all barbers, what they talking about, D?
What the hell is that?
So what they talking about right there?
Barbers be like, I follow the natural hair.
Oh, barbers, stay on your craft.
You did it bad.
I'm fighting.
Stay on your craft.
You did it
right
bad.
there.
You did it bad.
Please do that. Please do that. You know, shout out to them. They about to open up real soon. D, one thing. Did you we because you're from Greensboro, and we're gonna talk about a few quick little
I'm
things.
from New Jersey.
No,
but
I'm
I went
saying.
to school in
Well, I say you
Greensboro.
from Greensboro. My fault, D. I'm tripping right now. You're not, but that's your second home.
Definitely.
Can I say it's your second home? You know what I'm saying? So when I mean that, I didn't mean you're from there. You know, that's your second home. Did you teach your children about this right here? Because I remember we spoke about this months ago, but everyone ain't see all the episodes.
Not necessarily haven't taught them about that instance per se, but I will. They will know about it. They ain't been down to the school with me yet.
Sacrificed.
Matter of fact, no, I did, because when I went
6
down
months.
there from homecoming last year,
look at that.
I took a picture of the memorial statue they got on campus and showed it to my sons and explained to them kind of who they were briefly, but I need to run that back on them.
Yeah, we had a hard time quarantining for 3-4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks.
Jokers was going nuts. Not being able to spend their money with the white man.
I knew nothing about that prior to going to school there.
No, I don't.
But that might be the third thing I learned going to school there after what I found out what A&T stood for. The street version, but I'm not gonna say it right now.
Okay.
But,
okay.
But that was kind of, a time where, or not even a time. It gave me a feeling of appreciation for the civil rights movement again, just to see that it was so close to home down there, because that store was still there. It's basically like a historical museum type site now. So that Woolworth kind of is there now still, and just the fact that I went to school that they went to and they set it off and stuff like that was a proud moment. So,
No doubt. We
but yeah, what 6 months?
6 months.
6 months they did that, and what they did was basically got a lot of the restaurants and businesses in the South to desegregate the restaurants, because they went in there every day and asked for service and got denied and refused to leave until the cops came.
Oh man.
So their ploy for this was, before the cops even came,
there
was a white business owner in the area that they were friends with, that they told they were going to do that before anything.
Oh, it was a white cop they told?
No. A white business owner.
White business owner, okay.
So that white business owner called the media.
Okay.
And had the media there before the police. So wasn't no... it wasn't no ass kicking happening. It wasn't no physical violence happening, because guess what? Them cameras was on then. So I guess that's the smartest thing that they could have done prior to today, where you got a phone with a camera on it, was have the media there so they see. So if something gonna go down, you gonna see it from start to beginning.
Think and plan.
You see us peacefully sitting at
Think
this
and
counter,
plan.
just wanting to be served food. They denied us that because of the color of our skin. We're not going to leave.
I heard a lot of the protests back then were planned so that the media would film it.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. And I really didn't think about it at the time. They were like, a lot of the stuff we wouldn't have seen if they didn't plan it that way. They planned it so we could see it. They knew the media was going to be there.
Yeah, or else we would have never seen.
Right. They said a lot of those marches
with fire hoses.
They would call the media and say, hey, we're going to march over here. So the media would be there to film it. That's cool.
Guys, if you want to make a change, you have to sacrifice.
That's what I'm saying.
You have to vote.
Got to be built for not having what you want.
Built for it. Yep. I want to change the mentality and want to just instill this right here. It's not about the instant gratification. We have certain goals that we want to obtain in life, and sometimes you have to put in work to get it. I think right now, it's as adults and as kids, people forget how what it is to put in work, to perfect your craft, to make a change, to make a sacrifice. It's sad. It's so sad when I see people just the instant gratification. I can't call nobody out. It kills me. It kills me, y'all. Take the time to be the best you.
We need to know our worth.
Know your worth.
Know your worth. Boom. You just remind me of something. Know your worth. What I write on here.
What you got right there? Mikey Williams?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about it.
He's coming out of the class of like 2022 or whatever. Well,
yeah.
Anyway, he's one of the top basketball products.
That's the kid. That's big time.
He's the one talking about, I might go to talking about going
finally,
to HBCU.
Finally, somebody.
All these black kids know your worth.
Finally,
these
somebody not
that you going
scared.
to, these big schools, all this big money, this and that, thinking all about that. Think about the HBCUs.
Oh man,
you know what
That'd be
I said?
wonderful.
I said if the Fab Five would have went to like
North Carolina A&T.
or Hampton
No, or North Carolina A&T.
or Morgan or Lincoln
or Howard. Shout out to my Howard people.
or Grambling. I'm just
Shout-
saying we don't understand. That's what I mean by our power. Oh, A&T. I had a lot of buddies went to A&T. Peace to my man Grant. Rest in peace.
That power to know what you bring.
Man,
how much
we
more
could
money
change
you
the
gonna bring to
landscape
these
when we
HBCUs?
feel like it.
Right now, A&T has one of the top track programs in the country for colleges. Period.
Right.
Period.
But
The A&T will smoke.
But that's the thing; it don't generate dollars.
This is how it does now. And I found out I think a year ago about Belk, the Belk company. That they got the Belks in
Shopping centers.
Yeah,
shopping centers.
like
So
department stores.
Mr. Belk, whoever Belk is,
Mr. Belk about that life.
yeah, he's about that track life, and he donated the tracks to St. Aug to A&T because it came back. So now NCAA's regional, they are at A&T.
Okay.
So they're getting that money back that way, and they will do the same thing if you have our football players, our basketball players. Right now, I never been inside track athletes. So the track athletes are doing it. The track athletes are doing it, but it will happen the same way if you start bringing in especially basketball.
I had this conversation a long time ago, and somebody rebutted me and was like, "Oh no, they're not gonna never do that because of the exposure." I said, "Dummy, the exposure goes where the talent is.
It goes where the talent is."
What I heard a lot of these young boys saying, "Listen."
You mean to tell me if you got
pardon the phrase, but if you're a killer, you're gonna kill, no matter where you're
But
at.
I'm just saying, they said you got the top 5 athletes.
If you're a baller, you're gonna
go
ball
to.
no
Let's
matter
just say
where
they
you're
go.
at.
They say they go to North Carolina A&T. The top 10. Let's say five of the top 10 recruits go to North. Where you think the TV's gonna go?
They're gonna go with them.
You think they're not gonna go there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go.
I'm just saying. When you think to see the best players, where you think the TVs and networks is gonna go?
They going.
They're gonna go.
And the only reason they're not going because the kids aren't there. So it's a mentality that we had that we need to go to them. No, they need you. You're the talent. They can't. This was the excuse somebody told me. Oh well, they got the TV endorsements, and I said, bruh, don't you think that people will say, look, we'll work a deal out with you. Eventually, we're gonna get our money on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
But we in this mentality that we need them. No, we've built enough power in this country now to start doing our own thing.
If you are
They
the
too old to
cream,
play, and they not athletic enough.
if you are the cream, you will rise to the top. Shout out to people like Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. They didn't go to HBCUs, but they went to schools that they didn't even think
Walter
they were ever
Payton,
going to get.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
I can name
went to
I can name a
HBCU.
lot.
You know
Reggie
people
White.
that did go. What's my man from the Knicks?
Well, Oakley?
The bully. Oakley. And once you say the
Oakley.
Knicks, Mr.
He went to Virginia Union.
Oakley went to Virginia Union.
Starks.
Shout out to G Money. Yes, like Starks went to HBCU?
No, I'm just saying they went to small school.
Yeah, they went to small schools. So
I think
look,
Starks
man,
might
if
went
you
to St.
have
John.
the talent,
They're going to find you.
they're going to find you. Difference is they don't have the money to give as many scholarships like they want to. A lot of them are state funded, so they might only be able to get half their team from that state.
It's ways around these
It's
things.
ways around it. It's definitely
Especially
ways
for
around
basketball. Football might be a little
it. Football
tougher.
is a little hard.
But
Sometimes track
basketball,
is hard.
come on.
But
You can make that work.
come on, yo. Let's make that change.
If my son was a top recruit in the country, I would push him to go to a HBCU.
I want this man right here to go to a HBCU. That's how we're going to close it out. Justin Lax. I know you about to go to a prep school.
Was it Franklin?
In Connecticut.
Connecticut, okay.
Justin, I love you. You the nephew. This is my barber's son right here. He's the all-time leading rusher in New York City.
Word.
As a running back, 2 championships under your belt. I see you got that black fist up there. Let's find that HBCU for you to take over. Just like you went to that Catholic school and some people try to snub you like you're not the best. You're one of the best I ever seen in my life.
Yo, we in the Big South now, Justin. Check
Yo,
this out.
A&T, you might want to check that out. Justin Lax, we rocking for you. Shout out to Tiff, shout out to James, man. Congratulations. And shout out to all my barbers and stylists. Anybody got any shouts before we close out?
Nah, just everybody, keep the energy going. Don't let up. Be safe. COVID's not going either.
Shout out to everybody on this check-in. South Carolina State, My boy Jay Bellin said, Mikey Williams, you got Ike talking about, y'all know about it. Yo, man, I love everybody on this check-in, man. Yo, if y'all want to help support us and help support BKS1,
Curry,
please share. Please share. Like and share. Tell your friends, tell your family.
What's that say?
What?
What's that say?
What happened?
Right there. Go.
Which one?
Oh,
And see A&T basketball on point. No doubt, man. We are Beards and Baldheads, man. Y'all have a good one. See y'all.
Fight the power. I wish I had my boombox out there yesterday. I've been playing Fight the Power the whole walk. And then somebody defaced me.